breakdown of events or a breakdown of ayat and hadith the way you understood it. And then you'll see people get confused. Did Ibn Abbas understand it like this? The interpreter of the Quran? Turjuman al-Quran, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, best person who understood the Quran. Because there's people today that come and say, you know what? You know, Ibn Abbas said this in regards to the Quran, and then this person, this whatever, you know, he got a suit and tie on, 2008. He has this science project that he did, and it's actually a theory, and it's not yet to be whatever. So he says, you know, this understanding came, and this scientist said this, and this is what the Quran, and this is what the ayah meant. Are you serious? The Prophet Muhammad said, this brother, this individual, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, this individual, this Sahabi that Allah has approved upon, and he has approved of Allah, has an understanding of this ayah like this. And you, 2008, come and say, oh, this ayah means that. It's dangerous. For you to think this way is very, very dangerous. Because those were the ones who were ordered to follow, right, based upon all these verses and all these hadith and their understanding of this deen. And this person, 2008, comes later with a different type of understanding. And he says that, go ahead.
So basically what you're trying to say is, when people try to quote hadiths and mention ayahs in the Quran, they should read more about it in the context that it's coming from, so they understand it better before they try to use it to formulate an opinion. To formulate not only an opinion, because we're not scholars. We don't formulate our opinions. And even scholars themselves, to formulate an opinion, you must take all this athar, right? All this stuff, right? All these quotes of former scholars and opinionators, if you may. Right? Ibn Abbas said this about this ayah, Mujahid said this, Muqatil said this, Al-Hasan al-Basri said this, all these interpreters of the Quran said this, Ibn Jarir, all these different types of tafsir, Ibn Kathir mentioned this. You're going through a whole 10-page, you know, what do you call it? When you take your PhD, you have to do 10-page what? I forgot what it's called. Thesis, right. So they're doing all of this, right? To formulate that one opinion, and that's why Imam Malik and a lot of the A'immah, they say, you know what? And I believe it was Imam Malik that mentioned and said, he said, when he's on his deathbed, he says, I pray that I can go back and take all the fatwas I said that went against the fatwas, or I hope that I don't burn, in the meaning of what he said, I hope I don't burn for a fatwa that I have said that the Prophet Muhammad has already passed judgment on. Because of course, you know, they're human beings like us. They didn't want to make a mistake. This is how high knowledge that they had. They're not like these, you know, these Quran thumpers, I call them, that, you know, they get tongue happy instead of trigger happy. They read something and they go, you know, they go shoot people with this deviation and this different idea of this ayah. Without these imams, he said, Imam Malik was asked about 40 things, about 50 things. He said, Allahu A'lam for 40 of them. He said, oh Imam, how can I go back to the people and say that and tell them that I asked you 50 things, and for the 40 you told me Allahu A'lam? He said, so what? He said, I don't care that you go to the people and tell them that. Go tell them that Imam Malik said Allahu A'lam. It doesn't matter. What does it matter? I don't want to burn in hell for a wrong fatwa. That's why he said, I felt bad for actually making an opinion on something that the Prophet Muhammad has already passed judgment on. And that is the point, because these people that come with these ideas and they come with these ideologies, this is what they think, unfortunately, that they have a better understanding of the Sahaba. And this is an evil and this is an illness that's happening in this day and age like no other. I didn't used to hear about this when I was little, you know. But nowadays you got these people, you know, and they got these whatever. I mean, he can have whatever he has on, a funny looking hat or a funny looking tie or a thobe or a beard from here to his belly. It doesn't matter. If this person is spitting out stuff, and that's why some of the Salaf, like Ibn Allah, and he said, now, let me just give you a brief history of Ibn Allah. He was Imam al-Andalus, meaning in Spain. He said, and the scholars, they mentioned this about him. They said, if it wasn't for Allah,
And then Ibn Wadah, that there wouldn't be hadith in that part of the world, in Andalus. He's carried all this hadith and all this knowledge to that part of the world. Of course, if you guys don't know, Qurtuba was the first university in the world.
The seat of the university.
Qurtuba was in Spain. Qurtuba was in Spain. That this is the first university in the face of the earth. Qurtuba. And this Islam, this hadith that reached that part of the land, if it wasn't for Allah, after Ibn Wadah, the hadiths wouldn't have reached there. So, Ibn Wadah mentions, he says that in regards to the people of innovation, he says, I hope it comes back to me, in regards to, we were talking about the people who think differently, or don't take the understanding of the Salaf and formulate their own opinions. He mentions SubhanAllah. Inshallah I can remember. Anyway, to go back to the dars and what we're talking about, the third thing is what? Ilm. After what? Taqwa and ikhlas. That's the third characteristic of a person that is giving da'wah to Allah, having the understanding of the righteous predecessors. I believe it came back to me. He says, it mentions that this is a characteristic of the people of innovation. This is a characteristic of the people of innovation, is that they think that they know more of the deen than the Salaf. And they say طريق فهم السلف أأمن وطريق الخلف أعلم. They say that it's safe to take the manhaj of the Salaf, meaning the righteous predecessors before us. That's safe. It's safe for you to think that way. He said, but the Khalaf have more knowledge, meaning the ones that came after them have more knowledge. Where he got this from, or where these people got this from, Allahu A'lam. Where they got this type of mentality, Lord knows best. Because all the evidences and all of them come to prove that the righteous, all these hadith that we mentioned of the 3 generations, and the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and the guided righteous khalifas after him, the ayat of the mu'mineen, of the true believers, the 4 different types of characteristics of the people that Allah bestowed His blessing upon. All this comes to prove that the people that embraced Islam during the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ knew the deen better than anyone in this day and age. They drank from the fountainhood of the prophethood, and they know the religion better than anyone. And unfortunately, we have people today who do not believe this or think that they know more than the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Wal-iyadhu billah. So when you go upon the nahj and the way of the righteous predecessors, you use the same methods that they used for da'wah. Because that's what we're talking about, da'wah, right? They're using the same methods they used. What did they use? Methods for da'wah of our guide righteous. What did they use? What did they use, Ilyas?
They used to use messages. They used to use a box of tree to write down the Quran. Box of tree to write down the revelation of the Quran.
That's true. I'm talking about the methods of da'wah. What did they use for the methods of da'wah?
Through their actions and attitudes.
Yeah, of course. It's just, that's what I wanted to use. He's actually pretty close. It's not, detailed. What did they use? They used certain methods in their da'wah. When they gave da'wah to people, this is what they used. Right, but I'm saying how? What did they use? They used the Quran and the Sunnah. This is what they used. This is the method. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala